Bismillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome back to my video. In today's video, I will show you a tutorial about how to run a Laravel backend and a Flutter application so the app can be opened on a phone. This tutorial is very useful for beginners who are learning mobile app development using Flutter and Laravel. Sometimes beginners feel confused because the application works on the laptop but cannot connect to the phone. So today I will explain the steps slowly and clearly. Now let's get started. First, open the project folder on your laptop. Here I already have two folders, one for the Laravel backend and one for the Flutter project. The Laravel project is used as the backend or API server, while Flutter is used to create the mobile application interface. Usually, Laravel handles the database and data processing, while Flutter displays the application on the phone. Now, I will open both folders. Next, open Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is one of the most popular code editors because it is lightweight and easy to use. After opening Visual Studio Code, open the Laravel project first, then open the Flutter project in another window. Before running the application, I want to explain a little bit about how Flutter and Laravel work together. Laravel acts like a server that provides data. Meanwhile, Flutter sends requests to Laravel and receives data from it. Because of that, both applications must be connected using the same network. If the connection is incorrect, the application on the phone will not be able to load data properly. Before running Laravel, we need to turn on XAMPP first. XAMPP is used to run services like Apache and MySQL. These services are important because Laravel usually needs a database connection to store and manage data. Now, open the XAMPP control panel. After that, start Apache and MySQL by clicking the Start button. If both services turn green, it means they are running successfully. Make sure there are not port errors before continuing to the next step. Now, let's start with Laravel. Open the terminal inside the Laravel project folder. You can open the terminal by clicking the terminal menu, then choosing New Terminal. After the terminal appears, now we will run the Laravel server. Before running the Laravel, we need to know our IP address first. The IP address is important because later the phone will use this address to connect to Laravel. To check the IP address, open command prompt, then type this command ipconfig. After that, look for the IPv4 address. Usually it looks something like 192.168 point something. Remember this IP address because we will use it later. Now go back to Laravel terminal, then type is command php artisan serve -minus host APA IP and -minus port 800. Replace the IP address with your own IPv4 address. This command allows Laravel to run on the local network, so the phone can access it. After pressing enter, Laravel will start running. If successful, the terminal will show that the development server has started. Usually, if you only use PHP Artisan Serve, the server can only be accessed from the laptop itself, but by adding the host IP address, other devices connected to the same Wi-Fi can also access the Laravel server. That is why this step is very important. Now, let's move to the Flutter project. Open the Flutter folder in Visual Studio Code. Inside this project, I already have a file called variable.dart. Next, open the variable.dart file. Inside this file, there is usually an API URL or base URL variable. Now, we need to change the localhost address into the laptop IP address. For example, before changing it, the URL may look like this: localhost or 127.0.0.1. But localhost only works on the laptop itself, so now we replace it with the IPv4 address from earlier. One common mistake made by beginners is using localhost in Flutter. Actually, localhost means the current device itself. So if we open the app on a phone, localhost refers to the phone, not the laptop. That is why we need to use the laptop IP address instead. After changing the IP address, save the file. Make sure the port is also correct, because earlier Laravel was running on port 800, so the URL must match the Laravel server. Now connect the phone to the laptop using a USB cable. Make sure USB debugging is enabled on the phone. USB debugging is important because Flutter needs permission to run the application on the device. After connecting the phone, wait for the laptop to detect the device. Next, open the terminal in the Flutter project. Then type this command, flutter device. This command will show the connected device. If the phone appears in the list, it means the connection is successful. Now we can run the Flutter application. Type this command, flutter run, then press enter. Flutter will start building the application. Usually this process takes a few minutes depending on the laptop performance. Now I also want to share some tips for beginners. First, always make sure the laptop and phone are connected properly. Second, double check the IP address before running the app. Third, make sure Laravel is still running in the terminal. Fourth, do not close the server while testing the application. And lastly, be patient while learning programming, because errors are normal during development. In my opinion, Flutter and Laravel are very good combination for application development. Flutter helps us create beautiful mobile applications. Meanwhile, Laravel makes backend development easier and more organized. That is why many developers use both technologies together. Okay everyone, that was my tutorial on how to run Laravel and Flutter so the application can be opened on a phone. I hope this tutorial can help beginners understand the basic connection between Flutter and Laravel.